ban.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 14, Week 2. Today, in this flashback game, we're taking a look at rankings of a scrub versus attack on Elder Titan.
Team ban.
So game 2, in the first game, Iceman's team lost all their lanes, and then they had a bad day. This game, let's see if things go a little different for them. Interesting decision here to ban out the Faceless Void in the first round on rankings of a Scrub's part. AOET responding straight up with a Death Prophet ban. Again, just a bunch of meta heroes basically. A bunch of meta heroes and the Witch Doctor for Mufasa. That's what's going down here.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
First pick Marcy. What a surprise. So far, everyone's waifu has actually kind of struggled from this position this season. Seems like basically every time you see a first pick Marcy, if the game does win, it's not really on her behalf. Let's see if things change this time.
5 seconds remaining.
Bit of reserve time being used here. Ultimate decision, go with the Dazzle. Dazzle is a hero that I think is actually a hero with a higher skill ceiling than people give it credit for.
Radiant team pick. Lena.
Backing it with the Lena here. Iceman does not want to get a bunch of bans laid on him this time.
Seconds remaining.
But as I was saying,
5 seconds
Dazzle's a hero that I think has a higher ceiling people give it credit for. The thing with Dazzle is that unlike a lot of the other supports that are kind of in the, basic healing save type support, time efficiency is very important for Dazzle. If Dazzle is a super low level at the end of the game, if Dazzle isn't snapping up tomes whenever he can get them, snapping up every bit of XP he can find, if he doesn't stay competitive at the very least, right?
Invoker.
Interesting. Peter going the Invoker to counter the Lena here. Taking one of Iceman's signature heroes, throwing it right at him. But if you fall too far behind as a Dazzle, you're really not going to have any kind of impact on the game at all. A level 1 Shallow Grave is better than no Shallow Grave at all, but not by very much. And if you're just sitting there with one of those at the end of the game, you're sitting there with no shard at the end of the game, then it's going to be very tough for you to do really anything. Mufasa, of course, is fairly new to this game, fairly low MMR player, so it'll be interesting to see how he's able to deal with that reality. No Necro, by the way.
Dire team ban.
Rankings of a scrub banning out the Void Spirit here, I guess thinking maybe that it's a pause for Lena, perhaps? Or thinking that maybe attack on Elder Titan is going to go the funny pause for Void Spirit method. Attack on Elder Titan goes for the Slardar ban, wants Wizard to have a bad day today. No surprise there, it would be very surprising if many future teams did not ban out the Slardar against rankings of the scrub.
5 seconds remaining.
Ranking's taking some time to think of this one. Trying to make some sort of cohesive prediction. Really trying to ask themselves, is it really a pause 2 Lena? Is it really Iceman Lena? Did he really pick himself this early? No Dragon Knight. Okay.
Seconds remaining.
It's honestly hard to call Dragon Knight a particularly worthwhile ban if the other team hasn't really banned to protect him. You know, if there's still breaks on the floor and you ban out the Dragon Knight, you just let him through, honestly. One of the absolute worst heroes in the game when you've got a break of your own. Attack on Elder Titan says no Night Stalker. That's a little interesting. I don't think Wizard has played really much Night Stalker in his time.
Remaining.
Probably more of a strategic ban than a comfort-related ban. Certainly a good protection for Lena, who really struggles with Night Stalker just barging right into her face, especially once Night Stalker picks up BKB. Again, it seems like a very flat spread of reserve time.
Keeper of the Light.
Back on Elder Titan, going to pick up Keeper of the Light. Probably the signature hero of Holiday 1999.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Juggernaut.
Rankings of a scrub say that Lads is the Juggernaut. This is the game he's going to have. This could definitely be a good game for Jug so far. I like him to Lena. He pretty much just ignores both of the supports for the most part. It's gonna kind of suck if he has to deal with a Shallow Grave, but Omni Slash can actually last so long that it doesn't really matter. In fact, sometimes you actually don't want the Shallow Grave to work out. Or rather, you don't actually want the... Yeah, if you're Dazzle, I should say, you don't want the Shallow Grave to work out because, you know, it gives Juggernaut some extra time to just keep, for example, getting Maelstrom or Mjolnir procs out when he would have just stopped due to getting a kill. Though that particular situation, in fairness, is going to be kind of few and far between.
Dire team pick.
Crystal Maiden.
It's time for Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden's definitely going to be a strong hero here. Giving Invoker, Juggernaut, and Marcy more casts, more mana at all times is... Well, it's going to directly help Juggernaut stay alive. It's going to help Invoker keep his pressure up. And same for Marcy. Really kind of both for Marcy. It's definitely a good pick here. I think Marcy's ability to just throw people into the Crystal Maiden ult also can't be understated.
Radiant team ban.
Legion Commander.
An LC though, I really like that LC pick actually, if they can pull it off. Rankings of a scrub have exactly 0 people who are really that good at dealing with the LC. Jug wants absolutely nothing to do with her. Invoker really doesn't either. Marcy can beat the hell out of her if she's close, or throws somebody out of the duel, but it's the best she's got, and that's good, but it's not great. It's going to very much typecast whatever the last pick of rankings is going to be. Likely for their 3, unless they're picking a pause 4 last one around 3 Marcy.
Dire team ban.
Rankings knocking out the Wraith King. After achieving one of the only Wraith King victories so far this season, they don't want the same to be done to them, I guess.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
No Mars! That's interesting. This will be it'd be an okay Mars game, I guess, but Mars against Legion Commander, that's not really too great. Mars against Cicadal, not really too good either.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds Dire remaining. Team ban.
No Lifestealer, says Rankings of a Scrub. Yeah, not a bad idea. Just get rid of the other magic immunity core here. It's something Blackacre plays to a decent frequency, so...
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Panning out the Bat Rider. Do not want to see that Bat Rider happen again. Not a bad idea. Be a quite nasty pick here, actually. Especially for his ability to just outright completely say no to a duel going on, while being a pretty hard target for a duel himself. Just by the way he naturally positions himself and everything.
Dire team pick.
Going for the axe here. The axe against LC has already not worked here this week. Let's see if it's going to not work again. The good news for Axe in this particular game is that he cuts through the Shallow Grave. He is a basically impossible dual target to actually win against. You're just going to get your ass kicked. And if he builds Blade Mail, he's just going to kill Lean every time. And he's not really scared of Razor either, but Jug sure is. It's interesting. I certainly like this attack on Elder Titan lineup a hell of a lot more than I liked their last iteration of this. I think it's going to really come down for Rankings of a Scrub to how team fights flow. If, you know, LC and Razor show up to a fight and Juggernaut's already omni-slashing people, then they really have no ability to win it. But on the other hand, if LC can get a duel out, then basically Jugger Invoker's dead. Razor can get the Link out, Jugger Invoker is dead. It's really just going to be a matter of how the Axe factors him, the way he's able to counter-initiate in that case. So, even when attack on Elder Titan are appropriately enough on the attack, still going to be a lot of flow here. It's going to be a very execution-heavy draft on both sides here. Very angry-looking Dazzle set. And we still have the Skeleton King selected, even though he's not in this game anymore.
Prepare for battle.
Both teams making a little bit of an eye at this rune spot here. Looks like there might be a fight over it. Nope, Radiant have just decided to head top. It's just going to be mutual invasions, I think. Dire's about to invade Radiant jungle, and Radiant's about to invade Dire jungle. No, they're actually splitting back off on Radiant, going back down to their own rune spot here. They're going to be walking into 5 guys. And you can trust me on this one. There ain't gonna be any burgers of prize at the end of it if they stay here.
30 seconds to battle.
Yep, Lad of Lads has just walked past literally everyone. Legion Commander posturing out front, but only able to get a couple of swings at the Invoker. He's likely to heal all this back off by the time lane really starts. Runes go 2 for 2, and ultimately, while the Radiant had a bit of cold feet about it at first, they do ultimately decide to invade. Really, that's about it for the start of this game. I think maybe the foremost lane in this particular game is going to be myths. We're going to be looking at that a little bit more than usual here. Invoker immediately goes for an EMP and finds absolutely nothing with it. And as a result, we look at a different lane.
You get nothing.
We hear that you get nothing from the other side of the map because I still have Axe selected. Juggernaut's in a bit of an unfortunate situation. He's already having to kind of spin creeps pretty much right as soon as the lane starts. Well, spin into the creep wave, rather, pretty much right as soon as lane starts. It's going to be kind of a rough lane for him. You know, at any point, LC can really just kind of stand up to him, basically, and CM can't do a lot about it. Well, I guess they can at level 1, but Chug has got Healing Ward at level 2, even though he's not actually taken really any damage yet. That's an interesting way to go about it. Dazzle's bullying the hell out of the Marcy here, but what goes around comes around, and now Dazzle's looking, nope, never mind. Wizard's actually gonna kind of chump out on this go. Not really for any good reason. If he committed to that, Dazzle was basically certainly dead. We have funny combat music because Paige is just gonna get run over here by Coddle. CM, if there's one weakness for CM here, is that CM is going to have nothing to do in this wave. You know, she absolutely cannot trade with the Coddle. Coddle's just going to run right over her. You know, Coddle doesn't care if his attack speed's real slow. You know, he's just going to drop the flashlight on you, and that's his contribution. Also, that's this guy's main hero, so you know. That never really helps. Radiant safe lane tries to go for a revenge kill there, doesn't really get anything for it. So far, Invoker's struggling a little bit in this lane. He is behind on the last hit count, and he's also getting kind of melted as far as his HP pool goes. You know, sitting at a pretty consistent half HP or less. And sure, he's pulling ahead in terms of his mana pool, but for a level 3 Invoker, it's hard to say that means a whole lot. Well, this is good. Gets a cold snap here on Iceman right in front of the creep wave. He just has to eat a little bit before firing right back himself. Again, Katsu very excited to try and go on Dazzle here. Wizard really not so much. Well, he's a little bit more excited now, but this is probably not the time he wants to. Not when Razor's sitting there with a load of bonus damage. Falcon Blade coming right up for him very soon. Blackacre kindly donates the banner creep to Axe. Very sporting lad of lads. He can certainly afford to. He's at the top of the last hits chart right now, which is probably not what you want to see if you are anybody on the Radiant. Most notably Jug, who, at least in fairness, is in second place, which is good.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Well, Katsu's going to unintentionally throw Dazzle out of the way, and so throw his life away, getting the kill. Meanwhile, Jug's just going to randomly die at bot lane. Actually, CM's kind of bad against both of these guys in this lane, because LC can both purge off the cold and also just, you know, counterattacks through it anyway. That does not get affected by attack speed. What does get affected is her HP. She takes a million tower shots, but that's neither here nor there. This is definitely going to be a strong lane for these two in the off. Though LC is kind of, oh, that's good. Good body block there by Coddle. Really making Jug regret not having those phase boots yet. A lot of lads even tipped the man for getting the job done. Coddle again just decimating CM every time she tries to trade. You know, Coddle walks away from that encounter basically full on HP and mana, and he has Tranks just to make it worse, and CM has nothing left and is going to be plowing through region now. Had to buy a bracer. Just have some meat on her bones, basically. Not just die every time the flashlight had a nasty thought about her. Lena is not, in fact, missing. In fact, she just found a regen rune here, so she's going to be able to be a little bit more aggressive for a little while. Speaking of aggressive, we've got a big aggressive play going on here at top, as Dazzle gets broken by a jungle creep and dies. But unfortunately, if Razor just immediately gets a follow-up kill on Marcy, then that didn't really help Axe at all, did it? I mean, I would say Axe is going to have a pretty important role to play in this game, don't get me wrong. It's just she probably should not be giving kills to the top net worth, or top last hit core in the entire server. I mean, it's probably top net worth, if I'm guessing. Oh no, actually LC is by just a hair, but not by much. It's a good revenge play, though. Marcy coming in to try and give the assist to the Axe here. Razor's going to link to the Axe, but... okay, actually is going to accomplish a little bit here. Just barely able to knock him out before he goes down, which is good. Marcy is going to have a bit to say to Dazzle here, but not too much. Again, has to go back into the trees, pop his staff here. Dazzle should definitely be taking custody of this wave first and foremost. He's taking this opportunity to pop back and try to ward here, which is really probably what you should be doing when Razor's back and in a position where he's not going to be in danger, rather than just kind of letting a wave just kind of dangle free for no good reason. LC level 6, looking for first duel. It's a very easy one. First duel a success. Let's not get the Juggernaut there, but I mean, can't get everything in one life, right? And they are going to get the Juggernaut after all, so that's a-okay.
Double damage.
This is kind of a mind-blowingly bad start for Juggernaut here. Radiant offlane is going to take out the Dazzle once again. And this time, Razor's actually not going to get a revenge kill for it. Iceman is also going to get pretty low here as well, but not enough where he's in mortal danger, per se. Invoker trailing by about 10 last hits, but the actual XP differential is pretty close, interestingly enough. Lena just hit 8, Invoker's just about to hit 8, so not really too far from each other. Invoker gonna go for the EMP there, completely not realizing the fact that the Lena is already out of mana. Uses his Ghost Walk, does not realize that the sentry is here. And he's gonna get flashlit out of existence.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Then Holiday gets another tip. And Invoker Jr. gets called a punk. And indeed, you can say at this point he's being punked out. Interestingly enough, both cores at mid in lane phase with the lowest net worth. That is something you very rarely see in the game. And Axe is really starting to make his presence felt in this top lane as Razor is just taking a casual spill after what felt like an entire lane phase of good news. Invoker's going out here. I'm not really sure what for though. Why did he do that? Maybe he's just trying to prevent a dual win for the LC? I'm not really sure. Dazzle's courier just got spun to death. What the hell, man? That big old red fella, man, you just came up right to my groove, man. You just did a big old spin in it like a damn old helicopter. Just cut it right in half, man. That shouldn't be illegal, man. Just come on now, let's handle cruelty. Marcy bravely tries to throw Axe out of the link with Razor. It doesn't work! And Razor gets his own revenge kill. Which is really, there's one thing that is I'm starting to feel like is just kind of a general summary of this top lane for the Radiant. It's they can get small victories, but they can't win the lane. They're getting plenty of moments where they are getting something done, but is Invoker just gonna die? Yeah, he's just gonna get dueled under tower here. The Radiant tried really hard, built a very large response team to try and prevent the duel from happening. And they're gonna get a Culling Blade, second Culling Blade rather of the game out there. I assume the first one was on Razor at top.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So they're gonna get a Culling Blade in kind, though I can tell you this, a dual win is worth a hell of a lot more than a Culling Blade. Especially in a game like this where LC's performance, good or bad, is really gonna shape this, and she's walking out of lane phase with two dual wins, one of them on the enemy pause too.
Top tower is under attack.
Several kills on the Juggernaut here. Juggernaut who's sitting right now at an unfortunate 0-3-1. The amount of manpower that they needed to push out the LC at bot has allowed the Razor and the Dazzle to just take out the top T1, which is not great actually. The Radiant has lost their top T1, they've also lost their mid T1, which means their only remaining tower is this very precarious 500 HP bot T1. And then after that, they are complete, like at a massive strategic disadvantage in the early game. Axe is just going to wipe out Coddle here. The Lina makes sure that at the very least, okay, that's a good duel. Lina makes sure at the very least that it's a hard-fought victory. And then just kind of cleans up the rest of the team with a very well-timed DD. Triple kill for Lina. Nothing for her to be frowning at. All good news there. Even digs up a mango. Kind of convenient timing on that, actually. And feels like we're in the exact opposite situation as the last game. And I gotta say, this post-lane phase has not been kind to Invoker, who is currently sitting at a lower net worth than the enemy Coddle. Just not great for your mid. He's actually not really doing significantly better than his own Marcy, for that matter. So Invoker, their pause 2 has some pause 4 money, and nobody's in his place. It's just kind of a very, very dramatic line down there. I can tell you this much, this Invoker and Lina play that they went for here, very bravely charged right into the very top of lane phase, it ain't working out. There's not many things in this world that you can say for sure, but this is not working out. Man's on his way to like a 15 to maybe even 16 or 17 minute Midas. It's gonna help him come back a little bit, but boy, it's gonna be rough for him. Axe does have his blink at the very least. But he decided to TP perhaps not the best spot. Axe gets a big taunt here. but not big enough to stop anything as LC gets a dual win. And the Shallow Grave prevents, which is, by the way, very Shallow Grave at this point, which is good. We've seen some dazzles in the LD duel in the game at about this XP. Shallow Grave presents anything bad from happening to the Dire there. And Lena and the Legion Commander are starting to become some really major problems in this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Very interestingly, Dire is actually kind of losing faith in their push on this T2 down here, perhaps missing Razor, who is at very low HP right now and can't really participate in this push. And now they're all gonna fight for this camp, which is in fairness a very large camp that they're beefing it out over. Again, Dire kind of falling back here. Dire very convinced that Radiant are moving in on them when the reality is the only person who's even close to this is Marcy. And Crystal Main just kind of hiding in the trees. I cannot imagine Juggernaut has ever been sadder in his life than when he walked up this staircase and saw Axe already doing these Ancients. The good news for him is that at the very least, camps are going to respawn in only 10 seconds. And they're back up, but he's actually walking away from him. Sad.
Dire's top tower is
Reps
under
does not
attack.
feel that he can do him right now. I think he
Radiant's
probably
bottom
can
tower
with
is
his
under
healing
attack.
ward up at the very least. In pretty decent time.
Regeneration.
Invoker is tired of living life without any Radiant towers under his belt, so he's decided to split out the top
Dire's
T1
top tower
for
is
Dire,
under attack.
and does
Dire's
knock
top
it
tower
down.
has fallen.
Meanwhile, CM just gets evaporated. Pretty much one Lena ult and she's gone. Yeah, you hate to see it when siblings fight like that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Invoker has finished his Midas up here. So it's good. Played it very smart, played it very conservatively at that point. Made sure not to do anything that was going to stick his neck out, and so the prediction that, could be even later something went wrong, well, it didn't go wrong. Because he didn't die, which is really what that meant. And lining themselves up here to try and stop this push on the T2
Dire's
bot.
middle tower is under attack. Dire's
And
structures are
stop it
fortified.
with a split push as Juggernaut, moving in on the T1 mid, has attracted the attention of the entire enemy team. Was all pulled out to deal with them and left the rest of the Radiant alone. Radiant are smoking out to try and get a counterattack in, but Dire playing this very defensively. All that's going to happen is Marcy's going to just kind of go along. It's a good taunt by Wizard, good follow-up by the Invoker. The Shallow Grave gets immediately ruined, but so does Invoker, who gets the ult. And now the only remaining man is a lad of lads. And nobody can stop that TP from happening.
Going into hiding.
And ultimately, while it is technically a victory for the Radiant, notably, $675, this 1,100
This'll come in
that
handy.
just changed hands, went right into CM's pocketbook. She walked away with over half of the purse. So if you think about it in that light, really Dire actually kind of took the W there. Though the XP that went out from Lena losing her life in that fight certainly was worth a lot on its own. She's just gonna try and kill Jug. She's gonna successfully kill Jug.
Held your feet to the
That's
fire.
kind of sad. His TP's right on top of his head and just kills him. And for trouble, she finds one of the weird cast range at the cost of mana items. T2's fallen absolutely everywhere.
Dire's middle tower
Including a
is
dragon
under
scale
attack.
for Razor, which I would be astounded if he was complaining about right now. His finished out her Silver Edge, which is really going to suck for Axe. You remember that thing I said about how Axe is basically an impossible dual target? Well, not anymore if he gets broken. Axe gets broken, he has really nothing to do here. And speaking of broken, notably, he is not actually to his blade mail yet, which means that heroes like Razor are still kind of an existential threat to him. Definitely going to be a very strong buff for Axe when he gets that. A power spike, if you will, as many of these characters on the Dire can be classified as glass cannons. You know, Lina is not going to be able to take what she puts out. Razor is not going to be able to take what he puts out, especially if he has a link going, which can actually be worse for him in that specific case. LC is probably going to struggle to take what she puts out, though Axe is actually going to kind of struggle to take it too. So it's kind of equal trade there, and there we go. He finally has gotten it for himself. Actually, there's a good opportunity on Iceman here if they can spot it out. They're brave enough to go for it. Looks like today they're really not. They are more than content to let Dire just farm up this wave here and then just walk away. Evoker's really hoping that the Lina is still around, but he was just kind of chasing ghosts there. Even having had this Midas for 5 minutes, he's still not more than just 1,000 gold ahead of the supports and 1,000 gold behind every other core in the lobby. Iceman looking at the Wizard down here, but Wizard smells trouble, gets the hell out of town. The Radiant actually, or the Dire actually believe that there's some vision here, and it's not actually true. He just, you know, his Spidey senses are tingling for no real good reason. Axe only hits the blade mill the very last second of his life, just casually goes down. His team shows up to try and do something, but I mean, these guys are way too late. Oh, the tornado could actually play a part here. Play a part in Marcy's death anyway. Osforge trades lives. Juggernaut's gonna get his Omni slash out before Razor's able to do anything. Duel actually fails there, as LC just does way too much of that, just sitting there staring at CM. Which is actually probably the best piece of news for Radiant out of that team fight. At least it wasn't that. But in every other capacity, yeah, that was bad. Fire kind of declined to take any further advantage out of this, so just using the space now to just break it up and farm.
Is under attack.
Iceman wants a tower though.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And Iceman's gonna get his tower.
Radiant structures are
Well, none of the
fortified.
glyph has anything to say about it, but there's another wave coming in. But they're not going to try and push into the lot of the enemy team, even if they aren't going to be able to probably protect it before it goes down. So, you know, once again, none of the glyph has anything to say about it.
Visibility.
Four-man smoke on the Dire. They're kind of missing the Radiant rather. They're kind of missing the guy that they probably want the most in that smoke, though. And in fact, Dire's just gonna walk up to him. X gonna try and blade mail this, but man, he has so much to try and deal with here. He just gets completely chopped up. Another duel wound for LC, who is one duel now shy of getting 100 damage here at 24 minutes. Which is international code for LC is balling this game. No two words about it.
I'll take that as tribute.
BKB comes out on Iceman. Lena Now has the ability to ignore pretty much just Invoker and the CM ult, really. The Invoker is a pretty big thing, you know, you don't want to get just randomly EMP'd in the middle of the fight as Lena. That would be very bad. But unfortunately for Lena, that's really all she gets out of it this game. Or she's just going to get torn to shreds here. Lena takes the Aegis.
Never go out.
And Forge Spirit takes out the T1 mid at the last second. Looked like LC wanted to duel it for its insolence, but no such luck. Speaking of LC also near BKB. Actually not big on the BKB on the LC here. I just don't really... I don't know, I just don't really think she needs it. Like, not much to
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
go through it. I mean, the biggest thing is the Axe Call and the Culling Blade are both going to go through it. And Jug has really stopped by it. I mean, spin damage, but at this point, that really doesn't mean anything. And if you get shard, it'll literally mean nothing. T2 top going down. We get to hear come and get it because we have Hack selected again.
Regeneration.
He's a very talkative guy. Man, this is probably not what you want to see on your Jug in a losing game at 25 minutes.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Coming through.
Cannot imagine that the morale on ranking it with Scrub
Radiant's
is doing the
middle
best
tower
right
has
now.
fallen.
Feels just like a miserable time to be alive for them. Axe just started the most awkwardly timed TP of his
Dire's
life.
bottom tower is under attack.
Oof. Jug's able to TP out there right before the LSA comes down on his head. I believe his spin was over at that point as well. Razor has an inventory full of garbage. Please get rid of this crap. I particularly like the never completed Wraith band that he's got. It's like 2 minutes 50 on the Aegis here. It's a little hard to tell. Yeah, no, it's 2:30 actually. 2.5 minutes left on this Aegis. MKB actually coming in for the Lena here. Not sure for what exactly.
Illusion.
I guess in this case it is literally just damage. Maybe thinking at some point they're gonna get like a Radiance or a Halberd or something. But for now they don't have anything that has evasion, I don't believe. Yeah, there's not like an evasion talent for him. I can't think of any Invoker spells that give that to you. Maybe one of the Marcy things gives you evasion? No? Yeah, I don't really get it then, I gotta say. Man just hates uphill mess, what can I tell you? LC's just gonna take all the damage that there is. Tries to BKB very last second, just dies immediately. That's the full duration BKB down the drain. But on the other hand, that was a full Omni Slash that just accomplished literally nothing, so. Very awkward scenario here for the Dire, who have at this point basically just made sure that this Aegis is just simply a farming Aegis. Nothing really substantial got done with it. A farming Aegis for an MKB against a team that doesn't have any invasion, doesn't have any evasion. It's the weirdest part about it to me. I really am not 100% sure what Iceman's thinking here, what his thought process is.
This will do nicely.
Axe is indeed not going for Albert. He's actually got a Crimson Guard, which it's actually quite nice this game, though. It's more nice in theory at this point than it is in practice. I mean, you know, Crimson Guard is great, except for the fact that LC has more dual damage than it blocks. Crimson Guard is good against the Lina, though, so there's that. You know, Lina does some pretty modest to low damage attacks at a very high rate. Though, again, at this point in the game, you know, she's doing enough damage where, again, the Crimson is probably not going to be doing that much of an impact. Just way too far ahead. 4-man smoke coming out here on the Radiant. Coddle spies a haste rune. And a bounty rune, the latter of which he is going to collect. And with nobody here, all this smoke really accomplishes is taking some temporary control back of the jungle here. Coddle's gonna walk right into the Juggernaut. But his team kind of realizes that they're not in the right spot. They try to invade jungle there. There were some people doing some farming and did not find any. Oh, that tornado! That tornado just trolled the hell out of Axe. He's not getting anything like that Killing Blade anymore. It's the LC duel on the CM who somehow survives it. Ultimately gonna go down here. Iceman wins the fight with the Wizard. Juggernaut is TPing home. Invoker's already there. I will hand it to Rankings of a Scrub. This does feel in some ways more competitive than the last match did at this point. I mean, like the fact that for some reason, even though Elsie has almost 100 dual damage, she's not actually able to successfully just kill in the duration of one of them. That's a good sign. I think most likely there she just got slowed by the CM Q and just didn't BKB for it, I guess. It's a good sign. But at this point it feels like there's not really any option to deal with Alina. Like there's just nothing you can really do about her, it feels like. She's just way too far ahead. She is sitting at 21k right now, which is 10k more than anyone on the Radiant has. And that would be bad enough if the other two cores on the Dire weren't the people right below her too. Dire sitting at a massive 21k net worth advantage. There was one good sign at the very least. Invoker has used this Midas to the point where now he's actually kind of on the field. He's looking to get a refresher orb out next. Interestingly enough, everybody on Radiant basically sitting at more or less the same net worth right now. As the slow siege continues. Is picking up a casual Reaver here, maybe has something on her courier already. Yep, is looking to finish up a Satanic here. More than likely, and yep, Satanic has come out. More than likely when the Satanic pops up on lane, she's just gonna kind of win the game. The Radiant already really didn't have any real ways of dealing with her, and now any even alternate universe avenues are gone. Let's see what Gabe says. 98% victory chance for attack on Elder Titan, and not a single rack has fallen yet. That's the best part. And you know, let's not also forget, you've got LC here, who is bringing in Courier with, yep, AC on it. AC parts, anyway. She's gonna have the full, yeah. AC is complete on LC. You've got Razor, who has a much more modest set of items, and I guess he did hear me, because he's now gotten rid of all that crap that was in his inventory. Even the supports are pulling out quite a ways ahead of their Radiant counterparts, and again, I would like to point out Mufasa's definitely doing a good job keeping himself relevant in this particular game. You know, he's got 12 points, all of his main skills.
This will
Just
do
needs a point in
nicely.
ult, and he's got everything he needs, basically. You know, that much I'll tell you about Dazzle, you know. Well, he does need all of his goddamn levels. In skills, he can kind of live without his traits. They're nice, but they're not as necessary as having these 3 skills with 4 skill points in them is.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
Second Roche means free shard for the Lina. Who's gonna TP back out to bot and try and push out this wave. And what will likely be the grand finale in this particular game. If the team is posturing at top. I'm not sure if Radiant realizes how split this team actually is right now. Doesn't seem everyone's quite on the same wavelength here as the Iceman is. Who is now having to kind of buy himself some time for his team to get here. Just doing some camps and whatnot.
Invisibility.
Getting pung out by the enemy team. So this is definitely a place where that MKB comes in handy. Without any risk of mischance, he just took half of the HP off this tower without having to sweat even a little bit. Legion Commander waiting in the woods.
Radiant's
Tower has now entirely gone down. Wizard's gonna go out first, and is actually gonna completely knock out the Aegis here successfully. Iceman has come back up. LC with a very brave taunt against the Juggernaut.
Radiant's bottom
Does not win the duel, but the Jug does not live. And everybody on the Radiant is down. Well, no, not yet.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
That wasn't even buyback there. He just somehow got out of that mess alive.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Acts desperately trying to go for a kill on the Lina here, and actually does get it. Kyle just a little slow on the draw with the Ignis there, the will-o-wisp. At the very least, Razor doesn't seem to want to. Okay, now Razor suddenly wants to play. Rule out on the Axe, unlikely to be won by the LC. But again, doesn't matter. Even if the duel isn't won, the actual kill is still made. Rift of Radiant just falls down in light of the Razor ult. Jug, Omni Slashes, gets literally nothing done.
Radiant structures are fortified.
LC goes for the top T3. Liv comes out to defend it.
Radiant's top tower.
But this time the Glyph will not have it say. Tower's still gonna go
Radiant's
down.
top tower has fallen.
Rain Drax has fallen.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
Melee Rax is falling.
Radiant's top barracks.
Iceman is coming up in 20 seconds. This one's kind of over. And LC's even found a Havoc Hammer.
Is under attack.
The net worth advantage at this point is over 40 grand. LC is worth twice as much as Invoker, who is the top net worth on the other team. Or, in other words, is 15 grand higher. Even LC is 5 grand off compared to him. And she is quite close to being 3 times Juggernaut's value. Juggernaut, who Coddle, by the way, has just passed up, and Dazzle is not far from doing so. Radiant posture, rather dire posturing around mid-river. Axe goes out to try and get something done with his life, but kind of gets caught. A lot of resources being put out here to try and save him, but ultimately not going to be successful. Kind of casually goes down here. Marcy loses the first actual lost duel in a while, as Juggernaut just kind of casually randomly goes down. 5 dead on Radiant, Mega's in the base, no flyback, this is done. Peter calls the GG, and we're getting out of here.
Radiant's middle tower dies for victory.
Goes to a 1-1 here. That definitely shows that Iceman's team is still alive. Certainly. I think the LC play in this particular game was just really, really good. The Razor pick was really, really good. Neither the Lina, Coddle, nor the Legion Commander really had any sort of satisfying answers. And Axe had kind of the whole world on his shoulders, and it didn't really work out. Not really even from lack of trying, just from the fact that, you know, Legion Commander ended lane with a bunch of dual wins and kills under her belt. Juggernaut had a massively negative KDA, and Invoker ended lane with a support's net worth. Again, just major routes in the lane phase here. It seems to me that attack on Elder Titan is very highly dependent on these lanes. It feels like if they win lanes, they're able to really effectively just reach out, crush the opposition, just be done with it. And on the other hand, if they do struggle, it does seem like they have a bit of a hard time turning it around. I think that's really all you can say about it. I mean, these are just 2 stomps different ways. That's just the long and short of it. I do think the rankings of a Scrub Stomp was a bit more dramatic than the attack on Elder Titan Stomp. I do think rankings of a Scrub did a better job actually finishing as well. Attack on Elder Titan, I do think at some points just really just kind of delayed their own victory a little bit, which is just not something you ever want to do, even if you're quite far ahead. Because, you know, in a world where something went wrong, right? In a world where somebody had just a brief lapse of judgment on Attack on Elder Titan, in a world where they did finally get that, like, the huge kills on both Lina and Razor that they were looking for so many of these fights, that could have been a very major big deal. But this time it was okay. This time it was all fine. So with that being said, if you or somebody you know want to learn Dota 2 at a casual or more competitive level, go to ld2l.gg to sign up today. Pause 3 Dojo is open for business, and I will be seeing all of you fine Pause 3 players in there. And that's it for now.